is about business in Canada. I wanted to get a bit deeper into a business plan because a lot of times I've seen for people in many different countries, if you see a good idea, you just jump in and start it. And that's fine, but there's a higher chance of failure. And so in North America, Canada, I'll say specifically, if you want to get funding, and there's lots of opportunities from governments, from grant, like either government grants or startup to small business, or maybe they won't give you actual money, but they will give you a mentor or a coach or free advice. Usually you need to present some kind of business plan to them. You can start that process by walking into some of these organizations and saying, I have this idea. I'll just use, like right now it's winter in Canada. So if I walked to one of the groups and said, I want to start a snow removal business, that can be the starting point. But in order to go further and talk to banks, talk to different sections, or look at, is this the best or not, there would be a process they would guide you through in writing a business plan. So I'll talk a little bit towards the end about some specifics, and we'll go back and forth, but I wanted to hear from you guys first. If you're writing a business plan, and Tawfiq, I know you've had some experience, we've chatted past weeks, but what are some things that you want to think about? If you're going to start a new business, what do you want to know before you start it? Or what do you want to research in order to see if that's a good business or not?
Tough question. I thought about that actually. I was thinking maybe I can start like small business once in Canada.
Yep.
So I was thinking like something like maybe delivery, like food delivery or something like that. I don't know for sure, but I think I would say I would search for how to rent the locals for this business, how much does it cost, and if I found that financially I can start, I would search for the regulations for this business. I mean, what I need to do, especially with the laws that organize this business. I mean, do I have like to provide specific? I've seen for some businesses like you need a specific certification or a previous. I would not say that like, but you need like an authorization before you can even start.
Right.
So I will search for things like that.
Okay. So regulations or authorization, what would you need to be legitimate or legal?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And after that, I think I will check for the market when I'm sure about the first things. Like I know I can do that, I will search or study the market, see if the customers in the area that I'm starting my business in are really interested in the services that I will provide. The price would be good, how the profits might be in the future, and see if I will start or not.
Okay, good. Okay, Ibrahim, what would you look at when you're looking at starting a business?
For me, it will be in a different approach. I'll look first to myself, what I'm good in, or what's my passion, or what's my dream. And for that, I will look, is it possible to apply it on the ground? Like I will look for the demand, I will look for competitor, I will look for the budget, what I will forecast for the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, up to 10 years.
Yep.
This is what I will look for. I will look for also to the nature of the customer whom I will provide him this kind of business, or they will be my customer for that. I will look for all these points, but something is important, almost the same like what I'm looking for, or those steps, is the regulation, like for the place where I will be.
Yep.
Do it allow? Is there anything will stop my business? Is there any sort of regulation it will work against my business, so it will not make my business to succeed?
Good.
This kind of things I will look for it. I'll look also for, like, if we will look for myself, like I'll be in a shortage of funds, so I need funds. So I'll target also something where it's, if I will talk about Canada or some province in Canada, I will look for this province what they will push for or what they will support for. What they will support, that will be, I'll try to be a part of their plan. Like, I have to be a part of their plan. They will not be a part of my plan. This is something what I will look for.
Yeah, that sounds good. Isa, how about for yourself?
I guess I'll add something that we need to analyze the targeted categories of people or customers, so that who are we targeting? Is it the adolescents, the elderly, to know exactly what we are looking for? Moreover, we have to study the long-term plan. So if we started now, after 5 years or 10 years, where are we gonna be in? And how could we improve our business? How could we enlarge the benefits and propagate all over the country, then worldwide? That would be my plan. Yeah, looking for the long term, not just looking for the short term.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. And we often use the word scale. How can we scale this? So if it is successful,
Yeah,
you don't want, I mean, well, you might want something that's just for yourself, but then you're self-employed in one location. You want to see, is this something that I can multiply and duplicate? And that's where, if I'm good at a skill, I'm great at cooking, making pancakes. Well, that's fine, but can I also duplicate in that recipe and have others to make that? Otherwise, for the next 20 years, I'm just going to be making pancakes for the amount that I can make. And so, yeah, enlarging, scaling it is a good thing to just think about it originally. Yeah, the ideas that you guys have given are excellent. It's a good thing to identify and look at. And I'll just share, let's see here. Okay, yeah. So I've gone through several different business development programs. I've started several small businesses, and there's different organizations that offer help and advice for free that I've joined in and participated in. So I was introduced to this about 3 years ago, and if you go to the bank or to a organization for, or if you come to Canada to start a business, you need to have a long business plan, and those are often 20 to 50 pages. There's lots of different information, but that can be developed as a stage 2. As stage 1, you would want to look at something like this. This is called the business model canvas or a lean model canvas. And here you're just brainstorming and thinking about what are some of the key parts quickly that I can identify. This is a PDF, which I can send you. When I did it, I don't have the link in front of me, but I did one that's online, and you can save it for free in their program. And that way different people can look at it, edit it, make changes. So if you're working with several people, that's a good way to do it. But this just identifies, I think it's 9 or 10 different things to think about. So who are you going to work with? And key partners isn't just 1 or 2 others that you're with. It also means, who are your suppliers? How are you going to expand and work together with wholesaling or selling, etc.? What's the main thing that you're doing? Why is it better that people come to you? The value proposition. So in business terms, we call this the UPS, USP, the unique selling proposition. And you'll notice if you watch some of the TV shows, there's Dragon's Den and Shark's Tank, which are popular, where people bring their businesses to entrepreneurs to invest in them. In those 2 shows, they're always saying, well, why should I come to you? What makes you better, stronger, faster, etc.? Resources, not just financial, but family support, knowledge of experts, etc. So maybe you have a friend or an uncle and he's an expert in that area. So when you have problems, you can go and talk with him. How is it going to be set up with the cost and the structure? How are you going to, this is Isa with the long-term idea that you mentioned.
Yeah.
If you just have one idea and one way of making money, that's going to be limited, but how can you get different revenue streams in different ways? That's also key. Customer relationships, so how are you going to interact, communicate with them, what social media, and how are you going to distribute the products and stuff to them? And then the customer segments, and Isa, you mentioned that as well. Is it teens? And then within teenagers, is it teens who like skateboarding, or is it teens who like dancing, or whatever area or structure that
Yeah.
you're looking at in that category? So what if you have several different ideas, this business model canvas is good where you can write those down, and then you'll have a clear picture which one is better to pursue or which one makes more sense for you right now. Okay, so step one, as we've chatted about with some of these things, and some of you are just joining us, so we'll review, is what kind of business do you want? Who's your customers? What are the regulations? How do I set it up? Who's my competition? Those are some of the things I need to look at. Let's talk a little bit about the finances or the costs. So when you're looking at a new business, what are you analyzing or identifying? What are the different parts you have to think about concerning the money?
I guess you have to concern the resources that you are going to apply or use for, and you always have to offer a contingency plan if you have something which has got wrong or trouble with your resources. And how much do you pay? How much benefits do you get? And the difference, how do you split it? How much will you save? How much will you distribute or return back to the investors, or if you have any?
Yeah.
I think you have to look for competitive prices and uh, remarkable service, maybe. So all of that are going to state even if you are able to go forward with this plan or not.
Okay, good. Okay, and you gave a lot of good ideas. What else do you consider when with the money side of things?
I think we need to, the first thing to plan or to make sure it is guaranteed or it is provided is the money needed to launch the business, the minimum money needed. For example, if this business will need like locals to rent them, so you need to have that money. You cannot start without renting that. It needs like you have to start. You have to onboard some workers. You need to have like the money that you pay them at the beginning. At least I would say, I won't say like 1 month, but at least 2 months, because you won't have like revenues at the beginning. So if you need to like buy some stuff and use them in your business, so you need to have that money. And as Isa said, you have also to keep a good amount of money aside for emergencies, because you never know what will happen.
Good. Okay, Ibrahim, what do you think?
If I will look for it, I will look from different side, like as a part of your finance plan for your business. It will depend, like it's a relative. It will depend, like, do you have enough money, or you will be laying mostly on the some support from outside with the government or partner.
Yep.
So if you have the money, you can plan whatever you want. But let me talk about if you don't have that sufficient amount of money, your business should based on, let's say, not like the costing should not be based on something should like will be paid on a on regular way. Let's say like renting or like labor cost. So you have to look to minimize it to the lowest possibility of fun. Then you can look for like a partner, you can look for like a founder for your organization, loan, bank loan, or province support, something like this. So it will depend like for what you are looking for. If it's something normal, usual, something like not a new idea and to provide to this world. So you have to look for a partner. If it's something with a new idea to provide to this world, then you can find like you have to go for different approach.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay.
This is my main idea.
Yeah. Okay, good. Hi, Mashid. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Trevor. I miss you and miss my classmates.
Yes. Yeah, it's been a while since you've joined us. I'm glad you could join us today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're talking about business in Canada today. So maybe you have some ideas about starting a business, or maybe you just want to listen to the other ideas. It's up to you.
Yes, before I experienced starting a business, it was a startup.
Okay.
I think for starting a business, the first thing that we must consider is the good teammate.
Yeah.
The team with persons with different ideas and personality who are appropriate for different position in business. We consider them with 6 color of hat: red hat, yellow hat, white hat, and another for what's happened.
Sorry. Yeah.
So for starting a business, after gathering a good team, we must look at to work and predict what we want. The idea and investment are the next step. We have some constant cost and some current, like paying others or for water and for electricity
Mhm.
and everything. Unfortunately, my English is not very good for
No,
explaining
okay.
more.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, those are different things we have to consider and look at for that. Okay, Isa, was there anything that you wanted to add?
No, I guess we can add just the risk management that every business has its own risks. So you always have to analyze the risk management or the risk that you are confronted with, and how to try to attract more people to your business. Um, yeah, as a personal experience, I'm a bit familiar with the Arabian food here in Canada.
Yep.
So I've talked a lot with the people that are owning this business. They told me if they are just targeting the Arabian people here in Canada, they won't be that successful. They won't succeed a lot. They won't make a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
Rather than that, they are trying to attract a lot of people such as the Canadian. If you, I don't know if you are familiar with the calzone, it's a
Yes.
kind of, yeah, that's basically an Arabian food. And I have just noticed that some of the Canadian people, they like it, they like to eat it. And that's a success
Yep.
that you are trying to expand and deliver your taste of food to the strangers that they are not familiar with your food.
Yep. That's right. With that idea specifically, in Winnipeg, where I live, there's a person that was famous in sports, in Canadian football, and he then opened up, it's called Shawarma Kang. He opened over time 6 different locations of the Middle Eastern food, but it's a
Yeah.
quick service, it's a small location, and then he has different managers in the places. Um, and or for example, Chinese restaurants. If you go into a Chinese restaurant here, the food doesn't taste the same as it does in China, because in North America we like it sweeter, some of it we like saltier,
That is true. Yeah.
etc. So when, like, my wife was from Indonesia and lived and worked in China for 2 years, we visited China. I've had the authentic food. So when I'm here, I enjoy it, but it's like, oh yeah, this is a different taste because there's
Yeah.
spicy, there's hot, there's sweet, there's salty. So they've adapted it to make it more acceptable to what a Canadian or American would look at, which is good and bad. I mean, but you're right, they have to expand and cater to it's how they market and gather in the people to their restaurant.
Yeah, that is true.
So one word that you guys talked about, but not you talked about without mentioning the word, is cash flow. So we have to figure out what's going to be the money coming in, what's going to be the money going out, and then the difference between that determines, is this a successful business with positive cash flow, or is it an unsuccessful business with negative cash flow? And as we look at the numbers, we look at the different ideas and the information, what are the startup costs to get that business up and running? And then what do we have on an ongoing basis? So Masheed, I think you talked about that, like the utilities, the rent, paying our workers. So you have some initial things that you buy once, computers, desks, equipment, etc. And then you have the monthly things that you need regularly after that. Let me share a little bit, because I said I would share some websites that are full of information and trustworthy. I always tell people trust and verify, meaning when I meet somebody and they tell me about business or real estate or about life in general, I trust what they say, but I also want to always double check and make sure, is this what's happening? And so what I always go to first is canada.ca. This is the Canadian government website, and they have a whole section under starting a business in Canada. And the parts or steps I mentioned earlier about the making a business plan, etc. I'll go into some more details, but it talks about how do you develop your idea? Do you buy a business or start your own? What are the legal structures in Canada? Location, like there's lots and lots of information here. And then when I click on writing a business plan, it talks about, well, what's the point? Why do I need that? And as I mentioned, if you want to get funding or get help from different organizations, they want to see a business plan. So this goes through and identifies, typically there's 7 areas. And so just what's an overview of it? What's the opportunity? So your customers, your clients, competition, etc. How are you going to promote and sell your business? Who's on your team? So Masheed, you talked about that, of identifying who's going to be helping you, even if you're not paying them, but maybe it's an uncle that had a business like this, or others that can help support you, or you can ask questions. Operations refers to, well, what's the actual running of it? What's going to happen financially now and over the next few years? And then it goes through and explains each area in different sections. So I'm not going to go into details, but this is an excellent website to come for advice. And then they give you some sample business plans, and they give you links to helping you make up your own plan. We talked about the business model, which identify ideas quickly. And there's an idea, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. That was actually written by Benjamin Franklin, who was one of the early founders and leaders in the United States, just talking about, as you're going through things, if you're not sure where you're headed or what you'll be doing, then you're not going to be very successful at it. And then I'll just highlight, I talked about this group last week, but it's BDC, it's the Business Development Bank of Canada. And they have all sorts of information for entrepreneurs, and including business templates. And I'm not seeing it here. Maybe I saw it on the Government of Canada website, but there's different templates for different ideas, specific ideas. Let me just see if I can find that, because so for example, if you wanted to start a, I'll just click and see if it's here. If you wanted to start a business for food, they had a business plan. If you wanted to start a gym, they had a business plan, etc. So I'm not seeing it right now, but I know in some of these it talked about different business plans, and then it would go through. Here we go, sample. This is what I was looking for. Oh, it just brings me back here. Anyway, I'm not seeing it right now, but there I can put it in our comments when I post these, where it went through and identified different market niches, like different areas that you might be making a business in. Okay, yeah, and then so for restaurants, for cleaning studio, for gym, any type of business, there's templates that you can see and identify and get information from. Any other comments or ideas as we finish off here?
I guess it's all clear now.
That's good.
We can directly start our business. We just need money.
Well, and on some of those sites, it shows you how to get money from the federal government, provincial government, etc. So yeah, there are options. Mashid, you were going to comment?
Yes, I think another important thing in business is the time. It's determined the time that your investment came back to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much is long? It's after months or after years, and you can plan with this when you can take benefit from your business.
Yeah, correct. Typically, if your business gives you a return of your money, what you invested in 3 to 5 years in Canada, then it's considered a great business. Meaning, if you put in 100,000 now, over the next 3 to 5 years, you would get 25,000 per year. So it doesn't mean that you're going to be super profitable, but you can pay back the original amount you put in 3 to 5 years. That's kind of a general benchmark or guideline. Some businesses may take longer, but that's you know, if I see a business and it says, well, if you put in 100,000, you'll get this back in 10 years. That's not. There's other businesses that I can get money faster from that. So any other comments or questions as we end off or talk about business in Canada?
I think in general for business, yeah, I agree. You have to have a plan. You have to have a clear plan, not only plan. You have to stuck and commit to your plan. You have to understand the market around you. But also there is something is hidden also. We have to improve it. Like I work in sales since almost 9 years.
Okay.
Yes, my background in science, and I do sales. I'm representing some companies, but it's related to like scientific, high-end, high technology, some instrument it worth in millions, like 4 million, 5 million, 10 million. But at the end, I feel there is a basic sales, basic business skills. This is the core of the success for our business. I feel it's not related to what you sell, whether it's a food or electronics or some labor service or whatever it is. There is the skills. It will build up with the years, not with the courses, not with education. It need like a real practice, a real life practice. This is what I feel, where honestly the owners, they pay a lot. They pay a lot for their employee, even regardless to what certificate they have.
Yep.
Some of them, they will they get paid more than like a physician,
Yes.
just because of this basic hidden sense, or let's say experience or skills.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is something we cannot teach to each other, but this is something you have to learn it through the days.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
And this is what I feel it also, something related to what passion you have. When you have the passion for this business, so you will keep all your focus, all your thought about this business and how to improve it, where it will lead to improve your skills.
Yeah.
This is a comment I like just to add here.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's very appropriate, because without the experience, that's why many people that failed at their businesses in their 20s, not all of them. If we look at Mark Zuckerberg and others, they succeeded in their 20s, but a lot of people have grown and matured, and in their 30s, 40s, or 50s, that's when they've had businesses that they can scale and expand. You're absolutely correct. Or as Mashid said earlier, we may not have that. Maybe we have the product knowledge, so we have to find somebody to join the team that can help promote and sell and work with that. And I think that ties in beautifully, because next week I'm going to talk about marketing and social media and growing your business. And we'll look at, it may be similar in different countries, but we'll look at in North America, how is that being done, rather than just making appointments, phoning people and meeting face to face. Nowadays, we're using not just social media, but also bots and technology, artificial intelligence, robotic responses, etc., to expand and magnify somebody's reach. Good. So we'll end off there. If you have other questions, as always, feel free to send me messages through the week. I know that this time always is too short as we go through and talk and interact with each other. I'm glad that you guys were able to join. I appreciated your participation, and I did take some notes as we went through. Yes, there's a question about missing some of the classes there in the recording. So usually within one day, I will be uploading it. Let me actually just share this with you, because I did a short video live this morning, but I want to just, I'll put it also into here, and now I can't find, because I've made some changes in our Facebook group, and so let me just go through. I have no idea what that is with somebody dancing. So somebody sent, so in our Facebook group, Canadian English Preparation and Conversation and Exam Prep, at the top, there's about discussion, people, events, members, etc. I've added this section about units, and I didn't realize I could do this before, but with the units section, when you click on it now, there's a unit on CELPIP. So all of the strategies and information that I've taught in the past months, I've saved those videos and advice and information. So you can go, and when you click on it, then it will take you to that post, and it will then go through the video and the information from there. So we have that all for CELPIP, and then there's another unit for IELTS. I don't have the conversation uploaded yet, but over the next week, the different videos, I'll save and put them into a unit as well. And that way you guys can be reviewing it. You can share it with your friends. You can interact and work with that. Yeah, you recognize Chi there in the CELPIP video that I did. Yeah, so that's one of the participants from a few months ago that was joining in. She's taking the CELPIP exam, and she joined a lot of those classes to get ready for her exam. So yes, there will be recordings. I'll upload it in our group in the next day or two, and so it'll be in the main feed, but I'll also put it into the unit section so that everyone can see it quickly and easily. That'll happen over the next week or so. So thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate that you guys had a chance to join and participate. And as I said earlier, anytime you have questions during the week, just send me a quick message and I'll try to answer it as soon or as much as I can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you to everybody.
guys. Yeah.
Thank
You
you,
guys have a
everybody.
good- yeah.
Bye-bye.
Have a
Bye.
good
Thank you,
one. Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.